Our agency has been serving as the Mental Health and Rape Crisis Center for over 37 years, and human trafficking has never been out of the scope of what we provide. It's just that the governor's office has pulled our attention a little bit different to the issue. And so Brooke Lerman, actually, who's the controller for the state of Maryland, she wrote the bill that allowed the Regional Navigator Program to really soar within the state. And so what we've done is we've moved from serving with it as a part of our menu to really having a pretty direct line of here's the goal, here's the objectives, and human trafficking is not just on the menu, but it's a large part of what we are doing now to help people understand that human trafficking is here in our community.
What is really, I think, powerful about this program, and some of what Beth Anne was saying, is that the cooperation and collaboration that has to happen in response to this problem is rather unique, because trafficking does cross town boundaries, state boundaries, county boundaries, and so all of our resources, law enforcement, social service agencies, etc., we need to work together. And so the Regional Navigator role is to help facilitate that interaction, to facilitate the process.
The crux of this program is bring all of the service providers together. So there's therapy available. So there's Department of Social Services. If law enforcement is needed, they're there. The National Human Trafficking Task Force is there helping to guide and to lead. There's housing that's brought in. So it's really about how can we bring all the experts to the table and work with these cases so that this is not seen as something that it's one single person's responsibility, but it's really our community responding. What we had seen in the past is that folks were believing that it was primarily an immigrant issue, low socioeconomic issue. We didn't have social media as much in play. You know, there was a human trafficking case in Easton over a decade ago that people thought it was like a one-off. And the reality is what we've learned over time and what's come to fruition is that human trafficking is here in our community. And it really, you know, as much as this is like a wonderful place for people to live and people to come vacation, we're the main thoroughfare between Baltimore and Ocean City. And it's not just our immigrant community. It isn't just our low socioeconomic status. It is in our schools. It is white people. It is black people. It is Hispanics. It is people who are residents of this country and people who are not. It reaches everyone.
So the basics around human trafficking is it involves force, fraud, or coercion, which is basically lies and manipulation to engage an individual to do something against their will, whether it's labor or acts of sexual acts. And many, oftentimes, people who do traffic others are taking advantage of vulnerabilities, individuals' vulnerabilities, whether it's a youth, whether it's someone who has drug addiction, someone who is a runaway. They are targets of traffickers because they can be taken advantage of easily. And there are situations, Dave, in this area even where individuals who can't afford housing or food or if they have a substance use problem, they can't afford their drugs and they will traffic their children. So there's familial trafficking. There is trafficking in this Romeo boyfriending model that I suggested before, where someone friends a young person who, you know, posted a selfie and starts to build a relationship that way and then offers all kinds of support, but then it turns into a more manipulative situation. We want the public to know what the signs are, you know, how it shows up, what the signs are, and those signs can be anything from someone who looks like they are either not healthy, well, physically or mentally. They may have no access to their own identification papers or their own cell phone. All of a sudden their cell phone is missing. They may not be able to speak for themselves when they're in the presence of other people. They might have markings or tattoos. If you see a young person who's all of a sudden got a relationship with an older person, anything, or someone that you're not familiar with, that can be a sign. So knowing these signs, knowing how to respond, and that is, you can contact, for all seasons, you can contact the national hotline. The thing with this problem, this challenge that we have, is that this has sort of morphed. You know, human trafficking has, you know, it's not the typical traditional sense of, sex worker, prostitute, and pimp. And unfortunately, it's morphed in a way that it's somewhat unfamiliar to many people. Mm-hmm. And even the social workers that we work with and the law enforcement and first responders, when we do the training and we provide the information about how the internet has such a huge impact and some of the signs that someone is being trafficked, and it is always a very precarious and sometimes dangerous position that that individual is in, it's made a difference in the reporting. Mm-hmm. They've said, this is something that I didn't identify and we need to mark it as such. So that data is being collected in a new way. And that's going to help the response and the intervention, prevention, and support that we can provide to survivors and their families. So the Red Sand Project is a community-wide project that we are inviting our community partners and law enforcement and businesses, et cetera, to join us in an art installation, if you will, where we pour red sand into the cracks in the sidewalk or into the brick, and it represents individuals who have fallen through the cracks in the human trafficking arena. And so we are sharing those photos across social media. Any individuals and or agencies that are willing to participate. We've had the Talbot Sheriff's Office and Out of the Fire and a number of other social service agencies. The Department of Health will be joining us. And we're sharing those photos across social media so that we can continue to spread the word and continue to make people aware of just how prevalent the problem is. So we are inviting anyone who is interested in participating to contact us, contact me at For All Seasons. You can go to our website and get our contact information, and we will deliver the sand. I'll bring you the sand so that you can participate. And it really is a really powerful community-wide project that we would like to have as many people as possible participate in.